Oh my goodness, this going live stuff, man. It makes it difficult sometimes. So, good morning, everybody. It is the 29th of August, and it's looking like it's going to be a good day. So, basically, why did the market get hammered? It was because of this guy, Powell at Jackson Hole on the 26th, right on Friday. He decided to tell everybody.
Focus narrower and my message more direct.
In 2020, the Fed chair's speech.
So he basically erased $80 billion from the stock market and crypto, etc., because of, his just saying that we need to tighten costs and we don't need to spend so much. So therefore people aren't going to invest because that's spending money. Even though it's saving, it's spending money. So right now we broke down on Ethereum. I'm just going to go straight into the charts. If you followed me over the weekend, I showed you guys that we had potentially a head and shoulders here on Ethereum on the daily, right? And so if we break below that area, here, let me we are looking at potentially something drastic happening, okay? And it was looking like it potentially could. And we were going to get back down to that $1,000 range, which here, let me readjust my screen here so you guys can see basically kind of what I'm looking at. And dude, I'm going to figure out more of the live stuff here, right? So I'm just kind of a technical trader, so you'd think technically I should be able to do this live stream stuff like no problem. But I don't, okay? Channel of 16,000 people, small guy here, but I'm here to help you guys. So that's that range, that scary range of 1,000. Right? But it didn't happen. We got basically faked out. And if there's one thing I want to tell you guys is that anything is possible in trading. That's why you need to get your head out of your way to where, you're like, oh man, this is head and shoulders. It broke down. It should go down to here. Yeah, okay. Probabilities say that, yeah, it has a good chance of going down here. But what has happened? We've gotten an engulfing green candle that just totally takes out everything that's happened over the weekend. Okay? We had a gnarly, I like to call it liquidation candle before that, and the move got drawn out. And we found support. Where did we find support? Well, basically, we found support right around the, I want to say $1,400 range. Is buyers did not want sellers to have it go below $1,400. And if you look back here, that is a pretty strong support level over the past, month, right? Has been that $1,400, and we've bounced off of it. I thought we might bounce off of it, so I had limit orders in right close to here. And unfortunately, my limit order didn't get filled because my limit order was at 1410. For Ethereum, and we got down to 1420. That sucks, right? Because what happened afterwards? We have this massive pump that it's probably only like 6%, something like that. Yeah, it's like 8% was the initial pump here. But what I want to tell you guys is just you need to be aware that anything is possible, okay? So as soon as you get that through your head that anything is possible, that the market can go down and then go right back up, then you're neutral. And if you're neutral, you can make better decisions as opposed to, I'm sure we've all been part of, no, it's got to do this, it's got to do this, it's got to do this. I'm guilty of it as well. And if you have that mentality, you're going to continue to add to a losing trade. You're going to not look at the signals that obviously say that you're on the wrong side of stuff, because like if I zoom out on this thing, I'm like, all right, I do see the head and shoulders here. We kind of had a lower low here. So here, let me delete some of the drawings here. So here's a higher low. Here's a higher low, right? Here's the initial low. And then we had a lower low. Okay. So right there, that tells me that the trend, that was the first signal that potentially, this isn't going very well. But then we bounced off, right? And then we went back down below here. But we found another level here, okay? So if I'm going to zoom out even further and let's say go to the weekly, let me see what the weekly is showing me here. So I'm not drawing something for us. The weekly is telling me that we're still in an uptrend. Okay, because we have to get down all the way to under $1,000 to break this trend here on the weekly. So if I want to be a swing trader, this is a good entry point. Is, hey, we found a bottom. Here's a good entry point to potentially have this sucker go back up here. But we need it to break above the $2,000 range, right, for this to continue to be an uptrend. Okay, because if it gets rejected here, then we're just falling into like an accumulation range here where there's going to be a big move. So then the move I'd be waiting for would be under 1,000 or above the 2,000. Yeah, that is a large position here. But if I'm going to use the weekly as my signal chart, I need to use it as, you know, my stops and everything on that chart. Okay, but you're waiting a long time if you're entering something like this. You're holding on to a trade for, you know, months. Okay, but if I'm looking at the daily right now is looking good because we are back above the $1,500 range, which is kind of like that psychological range of, hey, Bitcoin and Ethereum, you know, crypto. I'm talking about Ethereum right now, but Ethereum should stay in this space. It should stay above this right now. But if I look even closer, let me get the volume out of here. We can see we're getting a little bit of rejection there. We're getting some rejection done there. So if we fall below the $1,500 range, then, you know, the head and shoulders pattern is more than likely going to play out. Okay, we could see a long wick here, right, and have this candle turn into a shooting star, which wouldn't be good. So ideally, what I would do is I would wait until the daily closes above 1,500, and then we get above this high of the wick of 1,531. All right, so 1,531 would be my entry as of right now if this candle was to close. I've got 10 hours to wait. Let me just zoom out or zoom in. The 12-hour, we can see we broke. And, you know, my trend line here could be considered, hey, you know, I'm just having it right at like the $1,500 mark. That's where I had my signal. Okay, get back there. But I could have easily drawn this up to the top here where it's getting rejected, right? And that's kind of what's happening right now. So we've got to break above this next candle, right? Okay, and then my level of resistance is going to be around that $1,700 range. $1,650 to $1,700 range is where I would think, right? That would be where I would probably take profit, would be right there. So that is Ethereum. Things are looking good for Ethereum. If I'm looking at like here, maybe how's the stock market doing? Because it should be open by now. Let me open up my trading view. S&P 500, NASDAQ still down. They're barely down. Barely down. What's it doing? Okay. It's bouncing, but it hasn't gotten up. And, you know, the S&P 500 on the daily is looking... we did break below that low here. Here's a definite head and shoulders as well on the S&P 500 on the daily. Okay, so this guy ideally needs to get above the close to $4,200 range, right? But it's got a psychological level of 4,000. But I'm not talking about stocks. Stocks are boring because they don't move as fast as crypto does. So Bitcoin, where do you guys think the psychological level is for Bitcoin? Psychological level for Bitcoin is 20,000. It's obviously 20,000. It's that nice even round number. Oh, and by the way, that is something where you guys shouldn't put stops at psychological, just even places. You know, anything like 1,900, 1,800, 1,700, Bitcoin, 21,000, 19,000. Don't do that. Put your stop at like 18,870 or 19,910, right? Because chances are you're going to get a wick that blows down below there. So over the weekend, if you followed me on TikTok, I said, hey, we've got a symmetric triangle forming here. And symmetric triangles can go either way. They can go up or they can go down. They're just, hey, something is going to happen. That's all that pattern is telling me, is something's going to happen. It's not like an ascending triangle where I'm like, okay, this is bullish, or descending, hey, this is bearish. This is neutral. This is, okay, it could go either way. You know, my signal is obviously the break. And if you entered at the break of this, you would have made money, right? And it basically made what would have been used, all right? So if I was to do this, you know, the break, it got close, all right? It got close, but then we got rejected, and boom, well, it found support and it's come back up. So now it's gone up here. So I guess if I'm just going to use this as the bullish example, you know, boom, boom, boom. Where is this telling me? This is telling me 20,500 right here on the 4 hour. All right. And we got to 20,362. So that's close. That's close. And then we're getting rejected again. This is on the 4 hour. We can look at the stochastics, which is again a delayed indicator, but it's showing that there's kind of a pump. Right? So symmetric triangles, again, if I taught you anything, it means it's just neutral. You're looking for some sort of a breakout. All right. If I'm looking at the daily here, the symmetric triangle doesn't really work. It's more of a, you know, my signal chart would have been the 4 hour, and that's where I would have left it, because the daily, it just looks like, nah. Okay. But here on the daily, we've got a good level of the 20,000. So we're finding support right at the 20,000. Because we actually bumped down all the way to 19,500, right? But the support is relatively trying to find it right around here. All right, that's relatively where the support. We've got some fake outs that have happened. This will be the third fake out. We really need to get back into the range right around close to 22,000 to 24,000, and I think we possibly will. We need to wait to see. And if we don't hold this level, the next level that I really be looking at would be right at 19,000. So we have to keep above 19,000. If we break below 19,000, we're seeing new lows, and I'm going to short, right? But if you're playing support and resistance, you'd be, hey, anything under 20,000 would be a good entry point for you. But again, you want to wait for that daily candle to close. If I'm looking at the stochastics is telling me, boom, wrong drawing, is we're oversold and we're just getting a cross, right? But we're not actually above the 20 line, which is another signal. That would be a double signal for that. If I'm looking at, let's look at relative strength. Again, these are delayed, right? So don't think delayed. Okay, we're bouncing right off of the oversold, no signal line yet. So there potentially still could be a move here. But right now, the market still hasn't completely decided where we're going, if we're going way up or if we're going way down. We're just kind of in this accumulation, sort of sideways-ish action. We have found support, and the support is right around the 20,000 area, okay? And what I mean by that is there's some wiggle room there, because it depends on how you draw your lines. 19,600 to 20,000, right? Because Bitcoin moves in such big percentages, you know, off and on. Like this 6% move on Ethereum, dude, on S&P 500, people would be going effing nuts if that happened, okay? And this is just kind of like a daily occurrence for crypto. So as of right now, I'd be maybe potentially looking at taking a long, but I need to wait for the daily to close above, unless I'm going to go down to use a different, maybe even the 12-hour. 12-hour, when is it closing? It's closing here in 9 hours, so I might as well just wait for the daily, because, you know, it's the same, right? 8 hours looking good. 4 hours looking good. If I was to use the 4 hour as an entry, I missed the entry on the symmetric triangle, but if I'm using it as the breakout of above the psychological level of 20,000 of support there, you know, I'm going to wait for this to close, and I'm going to wait for it to get above the high of the last candle, okay? And then my stop would be just under that 20,000. Actually, I would move my stop down to below the day low. So I'd be like 19,480 is what I would do for there. Because there's a good range that this sucker could easily get back up to here. And again, anything is possible. And there's something that, you know, you guys all need to know when trading is there's 3 things that make a good trader is you got to define your risk, right? That's your stop, your 1 to 5%. You know, you got to take profits, okay? So you have to if I make 50%, I'm going to take it 50% off the table so I don't have to move my stop because then I can have 100% loss and, you know, come out basically pretty much break even, okay? That's because I took 50% profit. And, you know, cutting your losses. That's an incredibly important thing too. So if the trade goes not your way and it's clear that, hey, this is going to continue to go down, you get out quickly. Okay, so there's the three rules that make a good trader, and it's all mental, right? Okay, it's redefining risk, taking profits, and cutting your losses. It's not terribly hard to remember, but it's incredibly hard to do and practice. But anyway, this is Johnny Crypto. Hey, I appreciate everything, guys. I'll be back on Around the Blockchain next Tuesday. But till then, you know, keep it here. I'm going to help you guys out as much as I can. I'm going to show you. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not going to give you no BS that, hey, we're going to 30,000 tomorrow. No. This stuff, there's a big move that is going to happen. Right? We just had a big move from 24,000 down below 20,000, but we're back up above 20,000, which is incredibly healthy. It tells you that big money is saying, hey, we don't want crypto to go down any further right now. Anyway, this is Johnny Crypto, here to help you guys make some money. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And in the comments below, let me know if you have any questions. I do try to answer most of my questions on Instagram, so you can follow me there. And, you know, because I'm that guy, if you want some help and you want $30 right off the bat and then up to $4,000 to trade with, you know, my Bybit link is in the description as well. You know, you could use the $30 and you could trade it at 100x and you could have $3,000. You can make quite a bit of money. I don't recommend you do that. I like to stay, as far as leverage trading, between 5 and 30 is really where I like to define the risk there. So, you know, but it depends on how bullish I am. Right now, you know, on some of my trades, I'm at 8%. 8x is what I am sticking out with right now because we're still pretty much in a bear market, right? Because we're below the 200 day. So I'm not just over leveraging the hell out of myself. But anyway, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching, guys.